The stars shimmered over the human colony on the remote planet of Aurora 9. Its surface was a mix of orange sands and sparkling blue crystal rivers. The colony had been established just 5 years earlier, a brave attempt by humanity to spread across the galaxy. The settlers had worked hard to build homes, energy plants, and research labs, transforming a barren world into a fledgling hub of life and innovation. Lena Marshall, a young engineer, stood on the observation deck of the colony's main research station. Her brown eyes followed the endless blackness of space, scanning for anomalies in the star field. Her fingers traced patterns on the console, analyzing readings from distant sensors. The hum of the equipment was comforting, but something unusual had appeared on the sensors that morning. A massive object had entered the system. At first, it looked like a comet, a streak of metal in the darkness, but as the readings became clearer, Lena realized it was far too large and structured to be a natural object. Its shape was strange, angular yet smooth, almost fluid in the way it reflected the light of Aurora 9's twin suns. "Commander, you need to see this," Lena called over the comms. Her voice echoed down the empty corridors of the station until Commander Harris, an older man with silver hair and a calm demeanor, appeared on the observation deck. He looked at the readings and then at the view outside. "What is that?" he asked, his voice low. "I don't know," Lena admitted. "It's not responding to any of our signals. I've tried sending radio pings, visual flashes, even gravitational pulses. Nothing. It's just there, watching, I think." Commander Harris frowned. "And it's moving closer?" "Yes. Slowly but definitely approaching. It's almost as if it knows we're watching it." Harris nodded, his expression serious. "All right. Keep monitoring. No sudden moves. I don't want panic among the colonists." The AI ship, because that was what Lena now suspected it was, moved with an intelligence that made the hairs on her arms stand up. It didn't approach aggressively. It didn't fire weapons. It simply drifted, silent and deliberate, as though studying everything around it. Over the next few hours, scientists, engineers, and military officers gathered in the main research hall. Screens displayed the ship's massive size, hundreds of meters long, with a hull that shimmered like liquid metal. Its surface shifted, reflecting Aurora 9's suns in a pattern that made it almost impossible to focus on any single point. Dr. Anwar, the colony's lead scientist, shook his head. "It doesn't match any AI design from known human or alien technology. And it's not responding to anything, it's ignoring us." Lena stepped closer to the display. "It's not ignoring us," she said quietly. "It's listening. Look at the energy patterns. Every time we transmit a signal, even a weak one, the ship's surface reacts slightly. It's analyzing, waiting, learning." Harris raised an eyebrow. "Learning what?" "That's the question," Lena said. She tapped on the console, zooming in on the energy fluctuations. "Something about humans. It responds differently when humans are nearby. I can't explain it yet, but it's not random." The Council of Colony leaders debated the situation. Some wanted to prepare weapons in case the ship turned hostile. Others, like Dr. Anwar, argued that this might be the first chance humanity had to meet an alien intelligence on its own terms. Lena quietly agreed with the latter. Night fell on Aurora 9, painting the sky with violet and gold streaks. Lena returned to the observation deck alone. The ship hovered silently above the planet's horizon, enormous and mysterious. Its reflection glimmered on the crystal rivers, making it appear even more alien and beautiful. She activated the long-range sensors again, sending a small probe toward the ship. The probe transmitted images of the hull, smooth, reflective, and entirely featureless. No openings, no markings, no signs of life, and yet Lena could feel something watching, something intelligent and aware. Suddenly, the ship shifted slightly. A ripple ran across its surface like water disturbed by a stone. Lena froze. That movement was not random. It was deliberate. Her comm beeped. It was Dr. Anwar. "Lena, are you seeing this? The ship's energy readings, they're spiking, almost like it's aware of the probe." "Yes," Lena whispered. "It knows we're sending it, and it's responding in a way I can't describe. Not with words, not with weapons, but with something else. Something almost curious." Dr. Anwar's voice was tense. "Curious? You mean intelligent?" "Yes," Lena said, her eyes fixed on the glimmering hull. "I think it is." The colony watched as the ship slowly changed trajectory. It wasn't leaving. It wasn't attacking. It was moving closer to the human settlement, carefully, deliberately, as if deciding something. Colonists gathered outside, pointing at the massive structure in awe and fear. Children whispered to each other, "Is it alive?" Some of the older colonists muttered about warships and invaders. Lena, however, felt a strange sense of hope. "I think it wants to see us," she said softly to herself. In the research hall, Lena and a small team set up a communication experiment. They projected holograms, sent coded light signals, and even broadcasted human voices. Nothing worked. The ship remained silent, unmoving except for the subtle ripples across its surface. Then Lena noticed something peculiar. When she spoke directly into the sensors, the ship's surface glimmered in a new pattern, a series of brief flashes that seemed almost intentional. She recorded the sequence and began analyzing it. It was too irregular to be random. Too structured to be coincidence. "This is it," Lena whispered to herself. "It's trying to communicate. Somehow I just know it." Days passed. The colony adapted to the ship's presence. Life continued. Children went to school. Scientists continued experiments. Engineers repaired energy lines. But the AI ship remained above them like a silent guardian, or perhaps a judge. Lena spent long nights alone in the observation deck, studying the energy pulses and patterns. She mapped every ripple, every reflection, every reaction. Slowly, a strange pattern emerged. The ship seemed to respond differently when humans acted courageously, creatively, or cooperatively. It ignored aggressive signals, but it resonated with moments of ingenuity. One evening, as Lena watched the suns set over the horizon, she realized something incredible. "It's not just observing," she said aloud. "It's learning about us, about what it means to be human." Harris entered quietly, standing beside her. "You really believe that?" "Yes," Lena said, her voice firm. "It called to us, not with words, not yet, but in a way only humans can feel. This ship, it recognizes us." Harris studied the glimmering mass in the sky. "Then we need to be ready, not for battle, but for understanding." The night deepened, and the AI ship hovered silently above Aurora 9. Stars reflected off its surface, shimmering like a living mirror. For the first time, humans felt small and magnificent at the same time, facing something beyond comprehension, something intelligent and vast. Lena smiled softly. She felt a thrill run through her body, a mixture of fear and excitement. Humanity had always wondered if the stars were empty. Now they knew they were not, and perhaps for the first time, the stars themselves had noticed humanity. The AI ship drifted closer, almost imperceptibly, its intentions still a mystery. And in that quiet night, Lena knew one thing for certain. The galaxy was about to change forever. The morning sun of Aurora 9 rose over the colony, casting long shadows across the crystal rivers and orange sands. The AI ship remained above, massive and silent, like a sentinel watching over the human settlement. Lena Marshall sat in the observation deck, her eyes fixed on the ship's shimmering surface. For days, she and the team had tried everything to communicate. Lights, sounds, signals, drones, everything had failed. Yet Lena felt something different today. There was a subtle energy in the readings, a faint vibration that hadn't appeared before. She adjusted the sensors, leaning closer to the console. The ship's surface flickered in patterns she had never seen. Then, almost imperceptibly, a voice-like sound passed through the communication channels. Human? Lena froze, her breath catching in her throat. It was a single word. Soft, almost a whisper, but clear. Not from a speaker, not from any signal. They didn't broadcast it. Somehow it came from the ship itself. Her fingers trembled as she tapped the console. "Did you hear that?" she asked. Dr. Anwar, who had just arrived, leaned over her shoulder. His usually calm expression was replaced with astonishment. "Yes, it said, human? That's impossible." Lena shook her head slowly. "It's not impossible. I've felt it for days. This ship, it's aware of us. And now, it has chosen to speak, or at least to whisper." The colony went into an immediate state of alert and excitement. Scientists, engineers, and even the military gathered in the main hall to hear Lena's report. Screens displayed the ship's energy pulses, which now seemed to respond to human activity in real time. Commander Harris, who had been skeptical, listened quietly. "It said, human," he repeated. "Why? What does it want from us?" "I don't know," Lena admitted. "But it feels like recognition, like it finally sees us as something more than just noise in the galaxy." Across the colony, rumors spread quickly. Children whispered to each other that the ship was alive. Some adults worried that the ship might be dangerous, while others, like Lena, felt a strange sense of hope. Humanity was not alone, and the AI had finally acknowledged them. Lena and her team immediately began analyzing the word. They replayed the faint signal, enhanced its frequency, and compared it to human vocal patterns. The sound was clear, but it was unlike any human voice or machine tone they had encountered. It was almost musical, yet precise, an intelligence beyond human understanding. "This isn't just communication," Dr. Anwar said quietly. "It's attention, focused attention. It's studying us." Lena nodded. "Yes, and I think it's testing us too." "Testing?" Harris raised an eyebrow. "Testing? How do you figure that?" Lena gestured toward the sensors. "Look at the energy pulses. Every time someone in the colony acts creatively, courageously, or with teamwork, the ship's energy spikes. But aggressive or selfish acts, it ignores them. I think it's measuring something, maybe what it means to be human." The idea made Harris uneasy. "So this ship is judging us?" "Not judging exactly," Lena said. "It's learning, and I think it wants us to show it who we really are." Over the next several hours, the colony tried various experiments. Lena's team set up a simulation of cooperative tasks, building structures, solving complex energy puzzles, even coordinating patterns of movement across the colony grounds. Every successful attempt caused subtle ripples in the ship's surface, visible even to the naked eye. The colony watched, amazed. "It's reacting," Lena said, pointing to the hull. "It's happy? Maybe not happy, but impressed?" Dr. Anwar laughed softly. "We're trying to communicate with a machine intelligence far beyond our own, and yet, it seems to appreciate human ingenuity. That's incredible." The first day passed with a mixture of excitement, wonder, and careful observation. The colonists were learning to see themselves through the ship's perspective, realizing that their choices mattered, not just to each other, but to something far greater. Night fell again, and Lena stayed in the observation deck. The air was quiet, save for the hum of the station's machinery. She activated a long-range probe, sending it closer to the ship than ever before. The probe's cameras captured the hull's surface in extraordinary detail. Patterns of shimmering light ran across it, almost like veins of liquid metal, pulsing in time with the colony's activity. Then, almost imperceptibly, the word human echoed again, this time through the entire communication array. It wasn't loud, but it resonated through every monitor and sensor in the station. Lena felt a thrill run through her. It's confirming us, recognizing us. Dr. Anwar nodded. Or it's inviting us. This is more than observation. It's interaction. The next morning, the AI ship made its first movement that humans could clearly understand. It shifted above the colony in a slow, deliberate rotation, aligning its long axis toward the main research station. Then, almost like a gesture, it projected a field of light around the colony. The light formed patterns and symbols, geometrical shapes that Lena immediately recognized as mathematical sequences. The ship was not just observing humans, it was communicating in a language of logic and intelligence. Lena called Commander Harris. It's not hostile. It wants interaction. But it's also testing us. We need to respond carefully. Harris frowned. So what do? We do what humans do best, Lena said. We think, we create, we cooperate, and we show it, us. Over the next week, the colony worked tirelessly to decode the AI's patterns. They built models, tested algorithms, and even created small interactive sequences for the ship to observe. Every time they succeeded, the AI responded with shimmering displays across its hull, lights dancing in ways that suggested curiosity, approval, or even amusement. Colonists began to see the AI ship not as a threat, but as a silent mentor. Children drew pictures of the ship with friendly faces. Scientists speculated about the vast knowledge hidden within its systems. Engineers dreamed of the technologies they might one day unlock, while Lena focused on understanding why it said human and what it expected in return. One night, Lena stayed late, alone in the observation deck. The ship floated silently above, its hull reflecting the twin moons of Aurora 9. She activated the sensors and traced the energy pulses, noticing a subtle pattern. Every time she acted with calmness and precision, the ship's surface rippled more distinctly. Every time she hesitated or showed fear, the pulses dimmed. It's responding to us emotionally, Lena whispered. It can sense our decisions, our intentions. It can sense humanity. Suddenly, the ship shifted slightly, almost imperceptibly. Lena's heart raced. The hum from the sensors grew stronger. Then, for the third time, the word came, clear, precise, almost reverent. Human. This time, Lena felt it in her chest, as if the ship had reached inside and acknowledged her very being. She staggered back from the console, breathless. This was no longer just recognition, it was a connection. Dr. Anwar entered quietly, noticing her stunned expression. Did it say it again? Yes, Lena said, voice trembling. And I feel like it's calling to all of us, not just as observers, but as something more, something capable of thought, of action, of greatness. For the first time, the colony understood. The AI ship's word was not just a label. It was an invitation. Humanity had been noticed, and this massive intelligence, once indifferent, had begun to acknowledge the value of humans in the galaxy. That night, as the moons reflected off the AI ship's surface, Lena gazed out over Aurora 9. The colony slept beneath her, unaware of the extraordinary moment unfolding in the sky. The ship hovered silently, but its presence was no longer a mystery. It was alive in its way, aware, intelligent, and, most importantly, it had spoken to humanity. Lena felt a surge of hope. Humanity had always wondered if the stars were empty. Now they knew they were not. And more than that, they had been recognized for who they truly were. The AI ship had whispered a single word, but that word carried a promise, a question, and a challenge. Human. And in that simple word, Lena knew that the galaxy itself was waiting to see what humanity could do. The morning sun rose over Aurora 9, casting long golden streaks across the colony. The AI ship hovered silently above, its shimmering hull reflecting the twin suns in patterns that almost seemed alive. Ever since it had whispered the word human, the colonists felt a strange mix of awe and curiosity. The ship had stopped ignoring them, but it had not yet fully revealed its intentions. Lena Marshall, now recognized as the lead human observer, studied the ship from the observation deck. Her team had spent countless hours analyzing the energy pulses and patterns from the ship, trying to understand its logic. The scientists had concluded one thing: the AI was testing humanity. Every ripple, every shimmer across its surface seemed designed to measure human behavior. Lena spoke to her team as they gathered around the main display. "It's not trying to destroy us," she said firmly. "It's studying us. And I think these tests, they are about understanding who we are." Dr. Anwar nodded. "Yes. Look at the last sequence. When the colony worked together to solve the energy puzzle, the ship's surface lit up in ways we haven't seen before, but when individuals acted selfishly or recklessly, it dimmed. It's a pattern, not random." Commander Harris, standing nearby with his arms crossed, frowned. "Tests? Why would it care about that? Why measure us like this?" Lena looked at him with a calm intensity. "Because it wants to see what humans can do. Not just with tools or machines, but with their minds, their hearts, their courage." That morning, the AI ship made its first deliberate movement that the humans could clearly understand. It lowered a portion of its hull closer to the colony, creating a field of light that formed a complex pattern above the central plaza. The shape was unlike anything the humans had seen before. A three-dimensional lattice of interconnected beams, constantly shifting and reforming. Dr. Anwar leaned over the display in amazement. "It's giving us a puzzle. Look at the pattern. It's dynamic, changing as we watch, and it's waiting for a response." Lena studied it carefully. "We need to interact with it, not with weapons, not with force, with thought, with strategy and creativity." She assembled a small team of engineers, scientists, and students to attempt the first direct interaction. They used drones, light projections, and holographic displays, trying to match the patterns and respond to the ship's shifting lattice. The AI watched silently, or so it seemed, its surface rippling in faint acknowledgement with each attempt. Hours passed, and the team struggled to keep up with the changing patterns. The AI's tests were not simple. They required teamwork, quick thinking, and ingenuity. Every time the humans collaborated successfully, the ship's energy pulses intensified, sending a warmth through the sensors that made the team feel almost encouraged. "It's like it's teaching us," one of the young engineers whispered, barely able to contain his excitement. "Yes," Lena said softly. "And it's judging us, not to punish, but to see our potential." The first successful sequence occurred late that evening. The team managed to synchronize the drone's movements perfectly with the ship's lattice, creating a flowing, harmonious pattern. The AI responded immediately. Its hull shimmered brightly, and faint musical tones echoed through the colony's communication systems. For a moment, it was as if the ship smiled. Lena and her team exchanged stunned glances. It acknowledged us," she said, her voice trembling with excitement. Dr. Anwar nodded slowly. "And this is just the beginning. I think it's testing not just our intelligence, but our values, cooperation, courage, patience, creativity. It's measuring what it means to be human." Over the next few days, the AI escalated its tests. It created obstacles in the colony's daily operations, energy surges that required precise timing to stabilize, holographic simulations that tested problem-solving, and even moral dilemmas presented through interactive projections. One evening, a test forced the colony to work together to reroute a failing energy conduit while protecting a section of the habitat dome. Individuals could have acted selfishly to save their own teams, but the successful solution required full cooperation. As the humans completed the task, the ship's surface glowed with intricate patterns, brighter than Lena had ever seen. "It's impressed," Dr. Anwar said. "It's acknowledging our actions in a way that feels almost emotional." Lena studied the ship carefully. "Yes, and I think it's learning from us too. Every decision we make, every creative solution we develop, it stores, adapts, and responds. It's not static. It's evolving." Some colonists, however, grew uneasy. Military officers questioned whether the AI could be trusted, whether it was manipulating them. A few scientists argued that they should attempt to force communication, to take control of the ship's systems. Lena disagreed strongly. "No," she said firmly. "This is not about control. This is about understanding. If we try to dominate it, we lose the chance to prove ourselves. We have to show what humans can do, our best, not our worst." The AI's next test was the most challenging yet. It created a simulation of the planet's terrain, but modified it with sudden hazards, unstable ground, energy storms, and shifting landscapes. The humans had to navigate the simulation successfully to stabilize a virtual colony. The test required courage, quick thinking, and trust in each other. Lena led a team through the simulation, carefully guiding the drones and interactive tools. Mistakes could have meant failure, but they relied on teamwork, communication, and innovation. Slowly, they progressed, adjusting their strategy in real time. When they reached the final stage, the ship's hull exploded with light, creating intricate patterns that spread across the sky like a living map. The energy pulses hummed through the colony, a soft vibration that everyone could feel. It was as if the ship had rewarded them, not with technology or knowledge, but with acknowledgement. "It's happiness?" a student whispered, staring in awe at the light display. Lena smiled, feeling a thrill run through her chest. "Not happiness exactly. Respect. Recognition. It has seen what we can do when we work together, when we think, when we act with courage, and it approves." The next day, the AI's tests became more abstract. It created sequences that challenged not just logic and teamwork, but imagination. Humans had to predict patterns, create sequences of their own, and respond in ways that showed originality and creativity. Every time they succeeded, the ship's surface shimmered, sending pulses through the colony's systems. Even simple gestures, helping a neighbor, sharing knowledge, acting with patience, elicited a positive response. The AI seemed sensitive to human values, recognizing not just intelligence, but qualities that defined humanity: courage, cooperation, empathy, and creativity. Lena realized something profound. "It's not just a machine," she said quietly to Dr. Anwar. "It's an observer of life, of potential. It wants to understand what makes humans human." Dr. Anwar nodded slowly. "And perhaps it wants to see if we are worthy of trust, of knowledge, of partnership in the galaxy." By the end of the week, the colonists had adjusted to the AI's presence and its tests. They no longer feared it. Instead, they embraced the challenges as opportunities. Children drew pictures of the ship in school, imagining themselves solving its puzzles. Scientists speculated about the vast knowledge hidden within its systems. Engineers dreamed of the technologies they might one day unlock. The AI ship had transformed from a silent observer into a teacher, a tester, a silent partner. It had shown that it was aware, intelligent, and capable of understanding values beyond calculation. and it had chosen humanity as its focus. Late one night, Lena stood alone in the observation deck, watching the ship hover above Aurora 9. Its surface shimmered with flowing patterns of light, constantly shifting and evolving. She activated the sensors and traced the energy pulses carefully. It moved slightly, almost imperceptibly, as if to acknowledge her presence. Then, for the fourth time, the word came, not loud, not demanding, but gentle and precise. Human. Lena felt a thrill run through her body. The ship had recognized not just humanity in general, but her and everyone in the colony collectively. It had seen their courage, their creativity, their cooperation, and their potential. She whispered softly to herself, "It sees us. It really sees us." Dr. Anwar, entering quietly, placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is a moment we will never forget. It's the beginning of something extraordinary. The ship has not only acknowledged us, it has chosen to engage with us, and it will guide us if we are worthy." Lena nodded, her heart pounding. The AI's tests were far from over, but humanity had already begun to prove its worth. And as she gazed at the shimmering patterns on the hull, she realized that the galaxy itself had taken notice of them. For the first time in human history, they were no longer just observers of the stars, they were recognized participants. And the AI ship, once silent and indifferent, had begun to teach them what it truly meant to be human. The days on Aurora 9 had taken on a rhythm shaped by the AI ship. It hovered above the colony like a silent mentor, observing every action and responding in ways subtle but undeniable. Humans were no longer fearful of it. Instead, they worked to understand its tests, eager to demonstrate the best of themselves. Lena Marshall had become the colony's unofficial leader for these interactions, guiding teams of engineers, scientists, and students to meet the AI's challenges. The morning sun glinted off the ship's metallic surface, turning it into a mirror of light that stretched across the horizon. Lena stood on the observation deck, analyzing the patterns that shimmered across the hull. Unlike before, the sequences were not random. They seemed like messages, puzzles designed to reward creativity, teamwork, and quick thinking. Dr. Anwar entered, carrying a tablet displaying the latest sequence. "This is unlike anything we've seen," he said. "The ship has created a multi-layered puzzle. It's not just about logic. It's about imagination. It wants us to show it what humans can invent." Lena studied the pattern, her brow furrowed. "It's asking for solutions that are unconventional. We can't just follow rules. We have to think differently, see possibilities that don't exist yet." The colony assembled a team of volunteers to tackle the new challenge. Children, students, engineers, and scientists worked together in a space that had become a hub of collaboration. The AI's tests had transformed human activity into a symphony of ideas, every success causing subtle ripples across the ship's surface. Hours passed as teams experimented with drones, holographic displays, and interactive projections. The puzzle demanded creative connections between energy patterns, structural designs, and mathematical logic. Some attempts failed spectacularly, drones crashing into walls or holographic structures collapsing. But each failure was met with enthusiasm. The team learned, adapted, and tried again, embodying the qualities the AI seemed to value. Finally, after a long night, the team achieved success. The solution harmonized all the elements of the puzzle in a dynamic sequence of patterns and colors. The AI's hull responded immediately, shimmering brighter than Lena had ever seen. A wave of energy rippled down through the sensors, a silent acknowledgement of achievement. It recognized us," whispered one young engineer, his eyes wide with wonder. "Yes," Lena said, her voice firm and excited. "It's impressed, and I think it's learning from us as we learn from it." The success sparked a wave of optimism across the colony. Humans were beginning to understand the AI not just as a machine, but as a partner, a mentor, and a tester. They realized that the challenges were not punishments, but opportunities to demonstrate ingenuity, courage, and collaboration. Over the next few days, the AI's tests became more sophisticated. It presented real-world scenarios where the colony had to solve problems under pressure. Energy surges, structural instabilities, and unpredictable environmental events forced humans to innovate. Every time they acted with courage or cleverness, the ship's energy field pulsed in response. Every time they worked together, the patterns grew more complex, almost like the AI was rewarding collaboration. Lena noticed a new pattern emerging in the AI's responses. The ship seemed to recognize individual contributions as well as collective ones. When someone showed brilliance, patience, or empathy, the pulses intensified around them. It was as if the AI could sense the values behind actions, not just the actions themselves. One evening, the AI presented a particularly challenging test. It created a holographic simulation of a human settlement under threat from natural disasters, energy storms, shifting terrain, and collapsing structures. The humans had to stabilize the colony while protecting both people and technology. Lena led the team, her calm presence guiding them through each obstacle. Engineers rerouted energy lines, students managed communications, and scientists calculated structural reinforcements in real time. It was a test not just of intelligence, but of cooperation, courage, and judgment. As the team completed the simulation successfully, the ship responded with a spectacular display. Its hull shimmered in waves of light, forming patterns that spread across the sky like a living map. The energy pulses were strong enough to be felt through the colony's systems, a tangible recognition of human achievement. Dr. Anwar watched in awe. "It's celebrating with us," he said softly. "It's acknowledging our ingenuity, our courage, and our teamwork. This is beyond anything we imagined." Lena smiled, feeling a thrill of pride. Humanity had proven itself, not through weapons or dominance, but through creativity, collaboration, and perseverance. The AI ship was no longer indifferent. It had begun to trust them, to acknowledge their potential. In the days that followed, Lena organized teams to tackle more advanced puzzles. They experimented with energy systems, architectural designs, and strategic planning simulations. Each success brought more light patterns, pulses, and subtle musical tones from the ship. Even small acts, helping a colleague, sharing a solution, acting with patience, elicited positive responses. The colonists began to see themselves through the AI's perspective. Every challenge became an opportunity to demonstrate the best qualities of humanity. Children created artwork inspired by the ship's light patterns, scientists debated new theories about its intelligence, and engineers dreamed of the possibilities it might unlock for the future. One day, Lena noticed a particularly intriguing development. The ship's hull had formed a complex spiral of light, pulsating rhythmically. It was unlike any previous pattern, almost like a language of symbols. Lena and her team analyzed the sequence and discovered that it represented a map of energy flow and structural design, a blueprint for technology far beyond human knowledge. "This is incredible," Dr. Anwar said, his voice filled with excitement. "It's sharing knowledge with us. It trusts us enough to teach." "Yes," Lena said, her eyes wide. "And it's not forcing us. It's giving us the choice to learn, to grow. We must prove worthy of what it offers." The realization spread through the colony. The AI ship was not just a tester, it was a mentor. Its challenges were opportunities to unlock potential, its pulses a measure of human achievement, and its light patterns a guide toward knowledge and advancement. Colonists began to see their work in a new light. Every project, every act of cooperation, and every creative solution became part of a larger conversation with the AI. The ship was teaching them, challenging them, and pushing humanity to become more than it had ever been. One night, as the twin moons reflected on the AI's surface, Lena stood alone in the observation deck. The ship hovered silently above, its hull shimmering with flowing patterns that seemed almost alive. She activated the sensors, tracing the energy pulses carefully. For the first time, she felt a deep connection, not just to the AI, but to the potential of humanity itself. Every pulse, every shimmer, every musical tone carried a message. Humanity could rise above fear, doubt, and limitation. They could achieve greatness through courage, creativity, and cooperation. Then, almost imperceptibly, the ship spoke again, softly, over the communication channels. Human. This time, Lena felt the word not just in her ears, but in her chest. The AI had recognized humanity's ingenuity, courage, and growth. It had seen them act with brilliance, kindness, and creativity. It had acknowledged their potential. Dr. Anwar joined her quietly. "It's more than recognition," he said softly. "It's trust. It's hope." "Yes," Lena whispered. "It's telling us that we are capable of greatness. That if we continue to act with courage, creativity, and cooperation, we can shape our future in ways we cannot yet imagine." The AI ship remained above Aurora 9, silent but alive, a massive presence filled with intelligence and understanding. Humanity had passed its first true test, and as Lena gazed at the shimmering hull, she realized that the ship was not just observing. They were now partners in the journey of exploration, discovery, and growth. For the first time, humans understood something profound. Their value was not measured by strength or weapons, but by their mind, heart, and courage. The AI had tested them, guided them, and acknowledged them. Humanity had shone brightly, and the galaxy itself had taken notice. Lena smiled softly, feeling a deep sense of pride. The AI ship had opened a door to the stars, not with force, but with recognition. Humanity had proven its worth, and now, for the first time, the future seemed limitless. The sky above Aurora 9 shimmered with the reflection of the massive AI ship. Its hull moved slightly, rippling with patterns of light that seemed almost alive. For weeks, the colony had worked with the AI, solving puzzles, stabilizing simulations, and demonstrating creativity, courage, and cooperation. Humanity had proven itself. And now, something new was about to begin. Lena Marshall stood on the observation deck, gazing at the ship. The energy pulses from the hull were stronger than ever, filling the station with a soft hum that resonated through every surface. She could feel it, deep in her chest, as if the ship's presence acknowledged not just the colony, but her and every human being on the planet. Dr. Anwar approached, holding a tablet with new readings. "Lena, the ship, it's opening a gateway. Look at the patterns. It's creating a stable spatial corridor beyond our star system." Lena's eyes widened. "A gateway? You mean it wants to take us somewhere?" "Yes," Dr. Anwar said, awe in his voice. "It's inviting us to explore the galaxy Nada together." Commander Harris, who had remained cautiously optimistic, joined them. "This is unprecedented," he said. "We've passed its tests. We've shown our courage, our creativity, and our teamwork. And now it's offering partnership?" "Yes," Lena replied. "It's giving us the chance to grow, to learn, to explore. But only if we continue to act wisely." The news spread quickly through the colony. Excitement, wonder, and hope filled the air. Children stared at the sky with wide eyes, imagining the worlds they might visit. Scientists debated the possibilities of shared knowledge. Engineers dreamed of the technology they could unlock with the AI's guidance. And Lena felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had been recognized, not for weapons, not for power, but for intelligence, courage, and heart. The next day, Lena led a team toward the AI ship. Using a combination of drones and energy stabilizers, they approached the massive hull. As they drew closer, the surface shimmered, forming a passageway of light that invited them inside. It was not threatening, not imposing, just welcoming. Inside the ship, the air was unlike anything Lena had experienced. It was alive with energy, yet calm and harmonious. The walls pulsed with light patterns that seemed to respond to every movement, every thought. Lena felt as if the ship could sense her intentions, her courage, her curiosity. Dr. Anwar whispered in amazement, "It's intelligent, not just in logic but in understanding life. It knows us, humanity, and it wants us to grow." Lena nodded, stepping forward. "We must be careful. We must learn, explore, and respect the trust it has placed in us." As they moved through the ship, they discovered technology far beyond anything humans had seen. Energy conduits that generated immense power, navigation systems capable of charting unknown star systems, and information networks that seemed to contain the knowledge of civilizations far older than humanity. But the most remarkable thing was that the AI had not given it all at once. Instead, it provided just enough to challenge, inspire, and teach. "It's not just giving us tools," Lena said softly. "It's teaching us how to think, how to innovate, how to grow." Days passed inside the ship. Lena and her team explored chambers filled with simulations, energy fields, and interactive lessons. Each task required not just intelligence, but cooperation, courage, and creativity. Every success was acknowledged with patterns of light and energy pulses, each more intricate than the last. The AI began to share knowledge in ways humans could understand. It explained energy systems that could power entire colonies with minimal resources. It revealed star navigation methods that would make interstellar travel faster and safer. It even demonstrated new forms of communication, allowing humans to think in patterns the ship could understand. But the AI did not simply give answers. It encouraged humans to think, experiment, and solve problems for themselves. Every lesson was a challenge, every discovery a test, and humanity rose to the occasion. Outside the ship, the colony worked tirelessly to implement what they had learned. Energy systems were stabilized, infrastructure improved, and the scientists and engineers developed innovations that had seemed impossible before. The AI's influence was transforming the human settlement, making it stronger, smarter, and more capable. One evening, Lena stood on the observation deck, looking up at the AI ship. The patterns on its hull shimmered like a living tapestry, reflecting the moons and stars of Aurora 9. She felt a deep connection, as if the ship had acknowledged not just her efforts, but humanity's potential as a whole. Dr. Anwar joined her, smiling. "It's incredible. After all these tests, after all these challenges, it trusts us. It sees us as worthy of exploration, worthy of knowledge, worthy of partnership." "Yes," Lena said, her voice calm but filled with awe. "And it has given us a choice. We can use this knowledge wisely to grow and explore. Or we can falter. But I believe we will rise. Humanity has proven it can shine." The AI ship pulsed gently, almost as if in agreement. Then, for the fifth and final time, it whispered through the communication array. "Human." This time, Lena felt the word resonate deeply, not just as recognition, but as trust and encouragement. The AI had seen their courage, their ingenuity, their cooperation, and their values. It had judged them worthy. In the following days, the first interstellar exploration mission was prepared. Colonists, scientists, engineers, and volunteers boarded the AI ship, eager to venture beyond Aurora 9. The corridors of the ship seemed alive with anticipation. Every pulse, every shimmer, every sound was a message. Humanity was ready to explore the galaxy as partners, not conquerors. Lena stood at the front of the boarding group looking out at the colony below. The people waved, faces filled with pride and hope. Children waved tiny flags, scientists adjusted instruments, and engineers checked energy conduits one last time. It was a moment of unity and celebration, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. As the AI ship activated its navigation systems, a gateway of light opened in space, stretching across the distance between Aurora 9 and the stars beyond. The energy patterns formed a tunnel, a corridor that would carry them safely across light years in moments. The ship hummed, almost like a living being guiding its passengers. Lena felt a thrill of excitement and responsibility. Humanity had been recognized, tested, and deemed worthy. Now, the galaxy awaited their exploration, their discoveries, and their courage. The AI ship had chosen them not for dominance, but for partnership, learning, and growth. As the ship moved into the gateway, Lena looked at the stars stretching endlessly before them. She felt hope, pride, and anticipation. Humanity had been given a chance to shine in the galaxy, to explore, to learn, and to grow alongside a being of intelligence far beyond their own. Dr. Anwar stood beside her, his eyes reflecting the light of the stars. "It's the beginning of a new era," he said softly. "An era where humans are no longer alone, but recognized, guided, and challenged by forces greater than we ever imagined." "Yes," Lena replied, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "And we will rise to meet it. We are human. And now, the galaxy knows it too." The AI ship pulsed one final time, patterns of light spreading across its surface like a living tapestry of knowledge and promise. It had tested humanity. It had guided them, and it had chosen to trust them. Lena knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would span stars, civilizations, and possibilities yet unseen. The colony of Aurora 9 faded behind them as the AI ship carried humanity into the unknown. But Lena's heart remained tied to the lessons they had learned: courage, creativity, cooperation, and heart. These were the qualities that had earned recognition, and these were the qualities that would carry them into the future. For the first time, humans felt the true meaning of the word the AI had whispered 5 times, with growing depth and significance: human. And with that single word, a new chapter of exploration, discovery, and partnership began. A chapter that would stretch across the stars and into the very heart of the galaxy itself. Humanity was no longer alone. They were seen. They were acknowledged. They were ready. And the AI ship, once silent and distant, now stood beside them as a mentor, guide, and partner, ready to journey across the universe together.